The wind carried a kind of loneliness across the Wyoming plains that evening. One of those quiet, heavy winds that feels like it's searching for something. The old ranch house stood alone against the fading light, a silhouette touched by gold. Inside, rancher Thomas Hale sat at his kitchen table, staring at a folded letter his late wife had written years before. It was her handwriting, soft, looping, full of warmth. She had written it for him to open if he ever felt he was losing his way. And tonight, he was. Life had been breaking him piece by piece. His ranch hands had quit, his crops were failing, and the emptiness of the house was cutting him deeper by the day. When he finally opened the door to that letter, he didn't expect the words inside to shake something loose in him. Be kind, Thomas, especially when you feel like you have nothing left to give. Kindness will return to you when you need it most. He folded the letter slowly, not knowing that before the sun rose again, those words would be tested. Before we dive any deeper into this story, if you love emotional, uplifting stories like this one, make sure to subscribe to Soul Tales, hit the like button, and drop a comment about what kindness means to you. Your support keeps these stories alive. Now, let's begin. Thomas woke before dawn the next morning, his boots dragging across the worn wooden floors. He stepped outside expecting another long day of hard labor when he noticed someone standing near his barn, a shadow, small, uncertain, and trembling in the icy morning air. As he drew closer, he saw her clearly, a young woman no older than 20, dark-skinned, thin, shivering in a dress far too light for the cold. Her hands were tightly clasped in front of her. "Sir," she whispered, "please, don't be angry. I'm not here to steal. I just need work." Thomas blinked, startled. "Work? Out here? Who are you?" "My name is Ada," she said softly. I heard you needed hands on your ranch." Her accent was gentle, southern, and her eyes told a story of someone who had survived more than she should have. Thomas looked at her carefully. "Who told you that?" She hesitated. "People talk. And I listen." Thomas crossed his arms. "You're alone, no family?" Ada nodded once. "None who want me back." There was something in her voice, a practiced distance, a shield built to keep pain from spilling into the world. Still, she stood straight, meeting his gaze with surprising strength. Thomas sighed. "Listen, Ada, ranch work is hard, dangerous, and you don't look like you've eaten in days." "I can work," she said immediately. "I'll learn anything. Just, please, sir, let me try." Her desperation tightened something in his chest. He thought of his wife's letter. "Be kind, Thomas." So he stepped aside and gestured toward the house. "Come in, get warm first, then we'll talk." Ada's eyes widened. "I don't want charity, sir." "It's not charity," he said gently. "It's breakfast." Inside, Ada sat at the edge of the table, shoulders stiff, waiting for permission for every small movement. When Thomas set a plate in front of her, she whispered, "Why are you doing this?" He shrugged. "Because someone needs to." She ate slowly at first, then faster, as though her body remembered hunger too well. Over the next week, Ada proved herself beyond expectation. She learned fast, listened carefully, and never complained. She mended fences, tended horses, and even helped Thomas repair the old barn roof. But something else began to happen too. Something Thomas hadn't expected. The house felt less empty. Ada sang sometimes while she worked. Soft, soulful notes that floated through the ranch like warm sunlight. And she smiled, rarely, but when she did, it was a smile that softened the entire room. One evening, after a long day, Thomas found her sitting on the porch steps, staring at the mountains. She seemed deep in thought, her hands wrapped around a cup of tea. "Penny for your thoughts?" he asked. She glanced at him. "Sir, may I ask you something? Honest?" "Of course." She took a shaky breath. "Why haven't you sent me away? Men like you, ranch owners, they don't keep girls like me around." Thomas frowned. "Girls like you?" Ada swallowed. "A black girl with no family, no schooling, no real worth, People say, people say no one marries a girl like me. But I can bear children, sir. I can work. I'm useful." Thomas froze. The words hit him like a blow, not because of what she said, but because of how deeply she believed it. "Ada, who told you that?" "Everyone," she whispered, "since I was little." Thomas sat beside her slowly. "Look at me," he said. She lifted her eyes, guarded, almost apologetic. "Ada, your worth has nothing to do with marriage, and it sure has nothing to do with what you can give someone. You deserve respect, a home, a chance at a good life, just because you exist. Not because of your skin, or your past, or what you think you can offer a man." Ada stared at him, stunned into silence. And for the record, he added softly, "Any man who can't see your worth is blind." Her eyes filled with tears she fought to hide. "Why are you so kind to me, sir?" Thomas looked out toward the fading sunset. "Because someone I loved once told me kindness returns to us. And I think she was right. From that night on, something changed. Ada carried herself differently. Still humble, still quiet, but with a growing confidence. She started humming while cooking dinner. She asked questions, laughed sometimes, and even teased Thomas in small, shy ways. But the town did not welcome her the same way. Whispers started. People judged what they didn't understand. Some refused to do business with Thomas. Others warned him she would cause trouble. One afternoon at the supply store, a man spat near Ada's feet. "Should have kept walking, girl. This town ain't for you." Ada lowered her head, ready to retreat. But Thomas stepped forward, his voice steady and loud enough for everyone to hear. "She's with me," he said, "and anyone with me is treated with respect. Understood?" The store grew quiet. Ada looked at him later and said, "You didn't have to do that." "Yes," he replied, "I did." Weeks turned into months, and the ranch began to flourish again, almost as if Ada brought new life to the land itself. Thomas found himself looking for her in every room. Ada found comfort in knowing she finally belonged somewhere. Then one night, snow falling soft and quiet outside, Ada approached Thomas at the kitchen table. "Sir," she began, voice trembling slightly, "I need to tell you something. I don't want to leave this ranch. Or you. You've shown me more kindness than anyone ever has. But I don't understand why." Thomas took a slow breath. "Ada, kindness isn't a transaction. I don't treat you with respect because I expect anything. I do it because you deserve it. Because you're strong and brave and good. Because you're part of this home now." She shook her head gently, tears building. "No one ever said those things to me before." "Well," he said, smiling softly, "then someone should have." Ada looked down at her hands. "Thomas, may I ask you one more thing? Anything. If I'm not just useful, if I'm not just someone who works hard, what am I to you?" He reached across the table and took her hand, carefully, respectfully. "You're someone I care about deeply," he said. "Someone I admire, someone I would choose every day." Ada's breath caught. "Even though don't finish that sentence," he said gently. "Your skin is beautiful, your soul is beautiful, and nothing about you makes you less worthy of love." For the first time in her life, Ada believed those words. Months later, when Thomas asked if she wanted to stay on the ranch permanently, not as a worker, but as family, Ada cried into his chest for a long, long time. But her answer was yes. Kindness didn't just save Ada, it saved Thomas too. It rebuilt the ranch, healed 2 broken hearts, and turned a lonely house into a home filled with music, warmth, and second chances. And it all began because one man chose to see a stranger not as a burden, but as a human being worthy of dignity, safety, and love.